SWX has this season's exclusive pass, bringing you into the locker room, onto the field, and inside Saints football. This is Carroll College Saints Insider.
Welcome into the bleachers at Burton Ernie's for another edition of Saints Insider alongside defensive coordinator Patrick Haynes. I'm Jeremy Schnell. And Patrick, Coach, what a game yesterday. You guys played really well, but let's get to know you first because it's your first year here at Carroll. Yep. Tell me about yourself.
Originally from Wisconsin, small town called Partyville in central Wisconsin. I played at Minnesota State Moorhead in the NSIC and kind of jumped around a few places. Most recently I was at Knox College in Illinois and had the opportunity to come up here and join Coach Purcell's staff, and I was very thankful for it, and it's been a great fit so far. So.
How do you try and implement your system? I mean, I know there's this shock D defense kind of system that you have going on. Tell me a little bit about that.
Really, it's just our identity. You know, it's something that our guys have bought into, and it's something that our guys believe in. So it's something that we break down on all the time, and our guys use it as kind of a motivation that when we go out there, we want to get after the offense, and we want to dictate what's happening on the field, not the other way around.
I'm trying to shock the opponent, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
And yesterday, what a game, honestly. 7 points and didn't give up a score after the first quarter. Just tell me about only giving up 40 rushing yards at the end of the day. How do you think your defense played yesterday?
Yeah, our guys, you know, they went out there and they executed what we wanted them to, and they really focused in this week in practice. And we wanted to allow our guys to play fast, play loose, and have fun. We preach 11 as one, and I think the guys went out there and did that last week, and it was nice to see them respond. We gave up that first touchdown, and then the next series we get an interception. And then from that point forward, I think the confidence just built, and the guys really executed the game plan. And so I really got to give them the credit, and our offense did a great job holding onto the ball too. I mean, they had a heck of a day, which takes a lot of pressure off us on the other side of the ball. So
that's something that you guys didn't really do a couple weeks ago, was make the other team turn the ball over. And yesterday they had 2 fumbles and you had 2 interceptions. Obviously you guys didn't get the fumbles, but the 2 interceptions were key for you guys, right?
Yes, actually it was 3.
3? Yeah, he threw 3 interceptions.
Yes, 3 interceptions.
Yeah,
yep.
That's right.
But yes, that's big. I mean, like I said, we gave up that first touchdown, and you come right back, get an interception on the next series, and then we got a strip sack on the corner pressure at one point, and you know that just really builds momentum. It really helps just kind of, our offense was already rolling, but then you give them a short field, you give them the ball at the 50 or past the 50, or you stop a drive with a turnover. I mean, the momentum just continues to build, and I think both sides fed off each other yesterday really well.
And I talked about it last week. Freshman Zach Spearoff, he had a tackle on special teams yesterday. He had an interception and also a tackle on defense. Just talk about how your defense is able to bring in these freshmen and let them play right away.
Yeah, absolutely. Zach is he's someone that from the time camp started, we kind of told him that you're not allowed to be a freshman anymore, Zach. I mean, you're on the field now and you're competing for a spot. And he's showing it all through camp that he has the ability to be poised and understand the situation and really understand how offenses are trying to attack him. So when he got in the game yesterday and Rocky put their top wide receiver out there on him, he had a good idea of what was coming, and he took advantage of it. And it's fun to see him get out there and get after it. I mean, being a local Helena kid, he's been watching a lot of Saints football his whole life, so it's fun to see him get out there and make some plays.
Real quick, preview next week. What does your defense have to do to continue this success?
Yeah, we just got to keep building on what we did this week, and that's just being very assignment sound and playing 11 as one. And I think if we continue to build off that and get a couple of turnovers, I think we're going to put ourselves in some good spots to win some games.
All right, thank you so much for joining me, Coach.
Thank you.
As we switch gears from the defense over to the offense with Devan Bridgewater, quarterback for the Fighting Saints. And Devan, let's get to know you real quick because you are new to the Saints this year, transferred from Colorado State, Pueblo. Tell me about yourself a little bit.
I'm from Boise, Idaho. Like you said, I transferred from Pueblo. Last year I only went there for a semester and then came here. And then,
Tell me about your high school.
Went to Eagle High School, started as a sophomore, played 3 years, and then went from there. Now I'm here.
And tell me about yesterday. Obviously, you threw the ball very well, but tell me about Matthew Burgess. This is his 4th touchdown in 2 weeks. 3 touchdowns yesterday, over 100 yards again. Just tell me about the freshman.
I mean, he's a stud, man. He runs the ball very well. He keeps his pad level going. And one thing I notice about him is his legs never stop moving. They never stop, and that's what makes him break a lot of tackles and break off those big runs.
And yourself, obviously 11 for 21, 2 touchdowns and 230 yards. And how do you assess your performance from yesterday?
It's all about that O-line, man. They give me the time, and especially those receivers too. They get open and makes it look easy for me, but it's really those guys up front and those receivers getting open.
And Shane Sipes yesterday, 117 yards. Obviously, that 61-yard touchdown. Obviously, you threw it like 20 yards downfield, but he did the rest of the work. Talk about being able to have like a safety blanket to throw it to, and he can just take it all the way.
Oh, it's nice with him. I mean, Joe, Tony, Kyle Pierce, the running backs out of the backfield, man. It makes life easy for a quarterback in a way, because you just feel like no matter who you're throwing the ball to, they're going to get open, they're going to catch the ball, and when the ball gets in their hands, they can do something special with it.
And next week's opponent, obviously, they got a good defense. So how are you going to try to prepare for that defense?
Just, I mean, whatever the coaches there know, they've been watching film. We're going to be watching film. They're going to get us ready. We're all going to buy into what they are believing in and what we can do against them, and just go from there.
Talk about a little bit more about yourself, because sophomore year of high school, you said you started, and now sophomore year in college. I mean, I know you're redshirt freshman, but this is your sophomore year basically in college. Talk about being able to come into a program and just kind of take over the offense like that.
I mean, it was a big learning curve for me. I really had to learn how to be that big leader, try to get the offense to, feed off of my energy. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just like you come in as a young guy, but you can't, as a quarterback, you can't be like, oh, I'm a freshman, I can't, lead these guys because they're older than me. You have to go in and you have to take control, and I think that's the biggest thing I've had to learn this year.
So yesterday there was a play where you were able to just find Tony in the back of the end zone. Just talk about how you saw him come open here.
So before the play, he was trying to tell me, hey, throw me the ball. I said, Tony, let me go through my reads and I'll get you the ball, man, if you're open. So I checked the corner, he stayed on the back, and then I looked at him running his route and no one ran with him. And I was like, all right, I guess you're getting your ball, Tony. And
he's one of those safety blankets for you too.
Oh,
you were
yeah,
talking about
definitely.
it a few minutes ago, and one of those guys that, I mean, he has 2 touchdowns in 2 weeks too. So is he one of your go-to receivers, or are you just trying to spread the ball around as well as you can?
I mean, I just try to go through my reads and find the open receiver, but I mean, he's one of my best friends too, so we do have that kind of chemistry.
That's good to know. Also, let's talk about your legs a little bit, because you're able to kind of, you were telling me you're more of a pass-first quarterback, but you can make it happen with your legs. You see tell me about how it happens that you see the hole up the middle and you just take it no matter what.
I mean, once again, it all starts with that offensive line. They gave me a great pocket every time, and it makes it easy for me to step up into the pocket. And once I step up, you can kind of see the receivers more and then see if there's an open lane. And I was just stepping up. They had great protection. I found an open lane, and I just took it.
What do you hope for the rest of the season?
I hope we just keep improving on this and just one game at a time. I mean, obviously the goal at the end of the year is the national championship, but right now we're just going to focus one game at a time and keep building on what we have.
Well, thank you so much for joining me, Devan. That wraps up this episode of Saints Insider. Make sure to join me every week here from the bleachers at Burt and Ernie's at 6 o'clock on SWX. Let's take a look at Coach Purcell's post-game thoughts after that big win yesterday. For Devan Bridgewater, I'm Jeremy Schnell. Good night.
These kids responded well, after the loss last weekend to Dillon in that close game, and we were just kind of getting our identity at that time, and kind of getting a feel of where we're at. And our biggest thing was to respond. How are we going to respond? How are you going to respond after a loss? And these kids responded. They played tough, and they're enthusiastic, they're fired up, they're having a good time, and that's what it's all about. Having a good time out on that field, and giving your best foot forward for your brothers. It's awesome. It's a great game. That's why. These feelings these days is why you're still involved with it. You know what I mean? That's why a person becomes a coach, to help these kids along and then see the juice and see their families and the excitement their families have and what they have and all the hard work and dedication they put in. We finally get to play at home, which is fun, and these kids are, they deserve it. My gosh, we get up at 6 in the morning, we get up at 5 in the morning, we get up, whatever. So the grind is real, and it makes us tougher. It makes us men of character, and our C4, creed, and it just builds onto that, and we get you get some success with that. And Coach Haynes and Bandolo and the rest of the staff there just did a great job of preparing the kids this week to be successful and keep the ball in front of us and create those situations of playing fast. Don't believe in luck. Believe hustle makes your luck. Lucky people, it's because of your hustle. It isn't just because of luck.